Hi there, it's Kathy Howes with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video we're going to put together April's Stamp Club card packet. So get your packet, get your supplies, let's go ahead and get started. I have here my packet. We're going to start with the, oh, I forgot the color of that's called Burst, Berry Burst, there we go, card. Looks like this, it's on this side, so the rest of this leave in your packet. We'll use that for the next card. Let me set that down, make sure we just finished club online live on Zoom, so my desk is kind of a mess, but I have all the stamps all mounted and everything, so it could just be a quick here video, and then of course you can pause and stop and start as need be. I have too many cards here. Let me, like I said, I just finished, try to get organized. Oh, and now here comes the sun. Excuse my noise, I'm gonna close the shade so we don't get that sun glare. There we go. Just a little while ago, it was perfect. Nice sunlight coming in the window to work, but now, like I said, too much sunlight. We're going to start stamping. There's lots of pieces and parts, but there's two white pieces. There's a square. As you can tell, that's the front. And then we have the inside, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. As always, to find the supplies and the measurements, you can go to my blog, Be Creative with Kathy, and you can search Stamp Club. You could search Cutest Cows. You could find it on there. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to stamp in black Memento ink, and I'm going to start with that little flowers, this group of flowers here. I'm going to stamp it on this little square a little bit to the right, so then we can add the thank you and the little flower here along the left side, and then the inside we're going to stamp the flowers along at the bottom. Now, here's always my warning, and maybe this shouldn't be a warning. And I'm looking around trying to find my Pierce mat, which is not showing up. Okay, hold on. Let me grab a different one because I had it for club and now it has escaped me, but it's okay. I have one from my Stamparatus a long time ago. It will work. Okay, let's cover that up. First of all, like I said, I'm going to stamp along the bottom of the inside piece for our card. And I'm going to start in the center and then work my way out. Let me show you what I'm talking about first of all. So it looks like that. And this is called a barn fold card. So it opens up like this, which is really cute. And I'll put the name in the description because I can't remember whose card that I'm casing today. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start in the middle with my stems just barely hanging off. Trying not to get my head in the camera. Okay, and then we're going to do one on each side. So one right here, nice. And then another one right there. And so now they're kind of, they look very symmetrical and very nice there. And then while I have this stamp, I'm going to go ahead and ink it up again. And this is that little square for the front. Like that, and I'm going to do it a little bit to the right. There we go. And then in the stamp set, there's this little stamp that says thank you, and I'm going to stamp that like part of the stem of the flower. So I'm going to put the T toward the bottom and try to line up it down with the bottom of the stems from those flowers. So just here off to the side, yeah, right there. Don't have to be perfect. Looks pretty good. And then that little flower, where's the little flower? Right here. Whoop, in our stamp set, this one here, I'm going to just connect that with the U at the end of thank you. Might get my head in the camera, but I'm going to try to get it straight and hover. Yep, and look at that. So then it looks like that. Isn't that cute? Brilliant. Not my idea, like I said. I'll put it, I can't remember her name, but whoever I cased this from did that, and I thought it was cute, and I wanted to share it with all of you. Okay, so now with some Berry Burst ink, and that's because that's the color of our cardstock, and I want to bring that to the inside of our card along with our flowers. I'm going to stamp the words here that say, the little things you do make such a big difference, and I think that's perfect with the thank you. So just up here at the top. No, hold it down, let that ink sink in, and you get that nice image there. Okay, believe it or not, and I think we are done stamping. Now we just have to color. And so I'm not going to color these. I'll color them later so you don't have to watch it in the video. And look, I got a smudge on mine, which doesn't make me happy, but I'm not going to take the time, for video's sake, to stop and color that. So you just have to pretend like that smudge isn't there. I'm going to use my Berry Burst blends because I want the center of my flower, get that bullet tip, a little bit darker. So I'm going to color, let me get rid of this foam mat too. I'm done with that. And the center is with the dark Berry Burst. And like I said, I would do this on the inside too. I'm just not going to bother since we'll try to make the video a little bit shorter. And then with the light, I'm going to go over the whole circle, and that way the dark, or the centers will be a little bit darker than the, can you tell I can't do two things at once? I can't color and talk at the same time. Here we go. Okay, just, and it really, any pink I think here would look pretty. If you don't have the Stampin' Blends, you could also use the Stampin' Right markers. Anything would work. And then I'm going to take some Daffodil Delight and just color those little petals. I think this might be the light daffodil. I think on my sample card there I used the dark, but there again it just needs a little pop of color. I'm not going to worry. I'm not doing a very good job coloring either, so hopefully you'll take your time and do a better job. Coloring is not my happy place. I do not enjoy coloring. I know a lot of people do. Okay, there we go. A little bit of yellow on my flowers. And then with the green, and I'm going to use Granny Apple Green, Stampin' Right mark, or nope, Stampin' Blends. Phew, I'm going to color in those leaves. And like I said, after the video, I'll go in and finish the inside, or I'll color those that we stamped on the inside, the other white piece, and give those color too. And it is really cute once it's colored, especially if you take your time and do a good job. Not like, well, mine's not too bad, it'll work. Okay, now let's just assemble the card. Okay, set that aside. Bring in all those other pieces. I think one fell over. Yeah, it did fall over the side. Here it is. Okay, let's start first with the card bases. So these are Berry Bursts. And I have not scored. Hang on, I got to get my score. I wasn't thinking I need my paper trimmer so I can show you how I, oh, and this is my old paper trimmer, but it doesn't matter. So on this long strip here, we're going to take and score it very lightly at 2 1/8. So bring it over here to 2 1/8, right? And very lightly now, I'm going to score right here. Okay? Because then when we take that score line and we fold it over so gently, then we're going to take this side and fold it over because we want those two pieces to meet in the center. Now you could score it both at 2 1/8, but what the important thing is, we want it to meet here at the center, not overlap, but barely just meet. So I'm going to meet them up here in the center and then bring in my bone folder and make those folds where I want them, like that. Okay, so now we have that piece that folds and meet in the center. Okay, then we're going to bring this piece, this is already scored for you, and just fold that down. Okay, now we're going to take some liquid glue, and in between, see where they're folded here, we're going to put liquid glue along the back here. And then at the bottom here, we're going to glue this to the bottom of our card base so that it's flush with the sides and flush with the bottom. In fact, I'm going to tap it this way so I can make sure, and that glue makes it so you can slide it around and get it where you want it. And there we go. And now we have a card base that looks like this. Okay, so now with, I lost my card piece. Here we go. So with the biggest of the black, because let's just layer these up and lay them where they go. This one's going to go in here. Both of those are stitched. There's these 2 layers, and these look like squares, but they are not. So make sure, and I like my pieces. If you wanted to turn them over, you could certainly use the other sides of the designer series paper. I like them this way, like this. That one we stamped on that I still have to color goes here, and then this one goes here. So let's just layer those right now. Whoop. There, that goes there. This one goes there. And then finally, oh no, we still have to do the inside. I thought we were all done. A lot of layers on this card, but it's totally worth it. It's so cute and fits perfectly with the cow bundle, with the barn door fancy fold, whatever it's called. Okay, now I have all my pieces and parts. Let's go ahead, since we have this big one, the inside right here, we'll just go ahead and lay that on the inside. So put some adhesive on the back here. And then this is going to even hide this seam right here in your card. Fits in there nicely, just like that. Okay, these little rectangles, not squares, are going to fit here. Be careful because it doesn't fit this way, but it does fit this way. Just make sure you have it the right way when you set them on there. And after you, at first they look like square, they're only like 1/8 of an inch off, but you can see that they need to be tall and slender. That's how they need to go on there. Okay, and then of course the last one is this here. And this one is just going to go up here on the front. Just like that, okay? Now we have, I don't know how many inches, a lot of ribbon here, but we're gonna take this, make sure it's flat back here. We're gonna take this and tie it in a bow. Now I'm going to use my reverse scissors after I tie my simple knot here, and my reverse scissors, wait, that's not very even. Let me try to get it even here. My tail's even, or evener, is that even a word? There we go. Now they're about even, but I'm going to take my reverse tweezers here and hold that right there for me, and then I have 2 hands to try to tie my bow. If you're looking for the reverse scissors, they are part of the embossing additions kit or something like that, and they come with the embossing tray, the embossing buddy, the reverse, maybe that's all that comes in there, but it's like a set. Okay, there we have our bow. Looks pretty good, not too shabby. Now I want to attach this with dimensionals, but I want to make sure, because this is going to be centered on the front of our card, so it's going to hang off a little bit here at the bottom. So I'm going to put my dimensionals straight onto my cardstock front where this is going to be. So I'm going to kind of lay it down there as a guide, and I'm going to set my 3 dimensionals right here on my card front, and then at the top of this I'm going to put a couple dimensionals like this. Get those backs off. Hang on, I'm having a time to take those backs off. And then set this down so it's centered on the front of our card. And now our dimensionals, oh, you know what, hang on, I want to move this down just a little bit. I think this needs to go down. There we go. But now, as I was saying, our dimensionals are exactly where we want them. Nope, it still needs to go this way just a hair. Don't you think it wasn't centered? I want it to be centered nicely on the front, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, there we go. Now I'm happy. Now I'll find a I don't know, a gem, something I can put on there to cover up my little mess. I don't have one handy here, but I will take care of that little smudge that I have there. I'm gonna just trim my tails here so they look a little better and a better length. And there you go, that's card number 1. And like I said, this is called the card, or a barn door fold, like that. Cute, right? I think so too. Okay, let's go to the second card. Nice and quick. Second card looks like this. Really, I did the one at Club Today, and then the one that was my sample. So I'm going to bring both of them in because my cow's head's a little bit different. And let me show you what I did. Let's start with our stamping. So in our packet, we'll bring out the rest of the paper. Now for you that don't know, I make a third card. This was the third card I made. And I'm going to have a video on this Monday, April, well, the last Monday in April. I'm not sure what day that is, but I'll show you how I made that in a video. I got that as a swap. And let's see if I have the original swap here. I do. Let's see what her name was. Oh, it's not on there. I'll have to find whose card that was, but I got that as a swap and I loved it and I remade it, and that was your third card. Okay, let's go on. So I'm going to fold my card base here just so it's smaller because I'm running out of room on my desk here. We'll fold that with our bone fold. That's just a basic white card base. We're going to stamp first is what I said, right? So we take all these. We need the 2 pieces of white. We need the crumb cake and the pecan pie. And I'm going to start with the pecan pie. And where did my... Oh, look, I couldn't find... I found my original Pierce mat. We're going to stamp on the mat first in black ink. And I have a cow's head here. It wouldn't matter which one. I suggest one that you can punch. That just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna stamp it toward the right side. That way I have a handle to put it into the punch. And then I'm going to turn it over and stamp his body on the other side. Same thing toward this right, so then I have kind of like a handle for my punch. And while I'm stamping, I'm going to bring in that little piece of crumb cake. I'm going to stamp that face again toward the right. And then I'm going to stamp those little horns that are in there. And the horns want to be like, I'm going to say facing toward the left, but we want them like this. This is the easiest way to get them into your punch. Like that. Okay, I think, nope, one more thing we need to stamp. Well, 2 more things, beg your pardon. One more thing with black. Now along this strip, there's 2 pieces of white. We want to do the longer white one. And up here in the corner, paying attention to the upper right-hand corner, we're going to stamp our flowers because they're going to come off the bottom a little bit, but we want to make sure they don't come off the top. And I want them as far to the right as I can, so hopefully I don't get my head in the camera. But I'm going to stamp my little flowers right there, letting that ink sink in. Nice. And then the little bit of grass that's in the stamp set, this itty-bitty little stamp right here. This is actually grass, and I'm going to stamp that in granny apple green along the bottom of my card here, or my white. So a little bit of ink and just stamp. Let's get this out of the way. All the way along the bottom. Can you tell I'm a messy stamper? I always have a million things on my desk because I don't put anything away right after I use it. Okay, now we're good. And I just realized that I did not cut an extra fence. So my card might look a little bit different than yours. It won't quite get done, but I'll show you what to do. Okay, now I have the light pecan pie, and I'm going to just color the centers of the flowers here. Boy, is that the light? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have the wrong marker here. I lied. I should use soft. That's why it's so dark. This is not pecan pie. I'm not going to use that one. Is this light pecan? Nope, that's not light pecan pie either. All right, well, it's going to have to do because I got the wrong color there. It's actually soft suede, which is a retired color, but I guess it's going to work. Not what I wanted. I'd rather use the pecan pie. It will do. No wonder it was so dark. I'm going to just color the centers a little bit there, get some color on there. It's good enough. And then with the darker yellow, I'm going to bring in that dark Stampin' Blend of Daffodil Delight and just color those stems. I wonder now that I think about it, where's my pecan pie? Because I grabbed the wrong colors. As soon as I quit coloring, they'll be sitting right there. You know how that goes. That just goes to prove that really any brown would work right there. So use what you got. And then I'm going to use some green, Granny Apple green here on my leaf. Okay, there we go. Now let's color. Let's punch our cow and then we'll color to make sure we get a nice punch before we waste the time of coloring. So for this little cow, I'm gonna, no, beg your pardon. Phew, got ahead of myself. I'm gonna take my cardstock and cut this in half. And that way there's no chance that my punch will punch into my head or into my body when I'm punching them out. So I'm gonna go like this and just punch that little cow head. Try to get a nice little border on there. Punch him out. And then let's do the same thing with our cow. And see how we punched it all to the right, so we have a handle over here so we can handle our paper. Sorry, can't do two things at once. Get a nice border on our cow, like that. So now we have our cow pieces all nice and punched. This little piece here, we're gonna have to fussy cut, which means we're just gonna cut out that little snout. So I'm gonna take, and normally I leave a little border around there. This time I'm cutting right through that black line of the cow, or of his snout, I guess, so that there's no border whatsoever. And then that way the black border on the, oh wait, hold on, I can't do two, I can't fussy cut and talk. And this don't take long. There we go. But now when you lay it on your little cow face, I missed a little spot right here at the top. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Now when you could lay this on your cow snout, there's no border. It just looks like a black stamped image around the side. So then with the little horns, we're gonna put them in here in our punch. And I think I punched them or stamped them. Put them in there the wrong way. I sure did. So let's see if I can slide them in there. Don't do it like I did. Here, I thought I had it down to a science, and now it's too wide here. Let's try this again. Persistence pays off is what I'm told. And it's gonna pay off, maybe. Oh, brother. Let me try a little bit more off the edge here, and then you know what? I'm gonna get a Post-it note. I don't wanna struggle anymore. So just a Post-it note here to hang on to it, make a little handle there, and look how easy now I can maneuver it into place. I should have just re-stamped it when I saw they didn't work. That would have been a lot easier. But there, now we have our little horns too. Okay, thank goodness we are done with the cow punch, which is usually very simple. Not for Kathy today. Okay, now we need to do one more punch. With this piece here, I'm gonna bring in that bumblebee punch that we used for the last club. Last time, not the last month. Last month we used the cow again, but the time before we used the bumblebee, and we need one of those little bodies of that right there. Now I'm not gonna stamp on that until the very end when I figure out how I want it to go. So let's assemble. Now here's another thing. So on this card, I decided I just put a little bit laying down cow, and then when it's time, I'll probably stamp happy birthday and send this out as a happy birthday card. In this card, I stamped milk it for all it's worth and a couple chickens. So you got to decide how you want to stamp the inside. I'm not going to take the time to do it today, just for video quickness on the video's sake. So let's go ahead and put this together. I'm going to take these two strips of designer series paper and I'm going to put it right here on the card front. Now I'm making sure that there's the same border on the left and the right and the top. That looks pretty good. And we'll do the same thing at the bottom. Now we're going to make sure that the border's the same, the left and the right and the bottom. go. And then this piece here is going to layer on this piece. And it's the same length. It just has an itty bitty border at the top and at the bottom. So just like that. And this here is where I'd make sure that they're the same length. I did pretty good on this one, but you never know. So make sure they match up here. And then with just a little bit of adhesive like this, we're going to lay this in the center here of our card front, making sure everything lines up. Nice, right? Now this is what I didn't do in my packet. I cut it at the last minute and I forgot to cut this little fence. I would just put the fence on with some liquid glue, and I made sure it lined up. Let me find some scissors. At the bottom of the white, I thought that's where it looked good, and I lined it up with the side of the white over here and put that right here. My bad, I'll add that afterward because I forgot to cut that one for this quick card here. Ooh, and look, I forgot to color my little cow. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to use a black Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to actually use that little brush tip and just get his hooves here real quick, and those little spots on his body. I do like the black Stampin' Right marker. Especially with the cows, I use it all the time. And in fact, in my next order, I'm going to order another one so I have 2 of them. That's how much I use that little black marker. I'll show you another thing. Hang on, I got to color real quick, and I can't do 2 things at once. We've talked about that. That I'm going to use the black marker because in this card, I want the cow's head to kind of be down. So I'm going to, hang on in just a second, one more little tuft of hair here. But with the bullet tip of the marker, I'm going to go ahead and finish this line here on his neck, I guess you call it. So just like this, just slow and steady, and just finish that line like that. That way, in case, like you see in this one, it shows here. Now this one, it doesn't show. I didn't put his head quite as low. So if you don't have a marker, you could cover it up with his ear. But just in case so it doesn't show in your card, I went ahead and finished that. I'm going to take him and just layer him on the front of our card over here to the left. So his hooves are down in that grass. And then, oh, I forgot to put his face. Boy, Kathy, you're really getting ahead of yourself. Let's put a little bit of liquid glue here on his snout. A little bit goes a long way. And then place that little snout right there. And then a little bit of liquid glue between the horns or in the center down here. And then we'll lay that head right there in between those horns. And now he has little horns like that. Isn't that adorable? Oh, and let's see if there he goes. Look at how it focused on that. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and put our cow head onto our card. And I'm going to do that with a dimensional. And I'm going to just place the dimensional. Let's see where I want his head. Yeah, I think I want it about there. So I'm going to put the dimensional down here. Take that backing off. Lay my little cow head down here. And there again, look, it did cover up, so maybe you don't need to do that extra step, but just in case, his ear covered up where his neck didn't continue on. Now, this piece here, if you notice, on my 2 cards here, I made sure his head was low enough so it could go here, but this time I want it to be a little bit of an angle, so that way I didn't stamp it, and now I know I'm going to set it across, and I should put it on my pierce mat, but I'm going to just take the chance and stamp it right here, and it says, "It's your special day," but I'm going to kind of make that straight and that bubble angled so it looks like this. And looky there. And since the photopolymer are clear stamps, you can see where you're stamping on that word bubble. And now we're going to take a couple dimensionals and put that on the front of our card. And then just like that, we're all done. Now, like I said, I'll go in and stamp the inside of my card. Yes, looky there. Later and get it all finished. I just didn't take the time for the video. So there you go. There's your 2 cards. Let me bring all the cards back in. We really did a number on this cow. I think we got a lot of nice cards from the cow bundle. Let me see if I can find them all. So here's the 3 that we made from today. And here's the 2. I don't know where the third one of, oh, here it is. The third one of that one from today, because I have my samples and the 2 that we made. And then here's the 2 that we made last month, and then the 3rd card that we made, that I made for you this month. And I don't have the 4th card that I made for you last month. I don't know where it's at. But there you go. There are your cards. Thank you for being a club member. If you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Remember, I don't know if I have it here. Next month, we're going to use the ice cream cones. And I think we've talked about that before. And Stamp Club will be May 26th. Here, I found it. It looks like this. And it has the die set to match. So if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. There's your cards for this month. I hope you enjoyed the cow. I sure did. And I got nothing else. I'll talk to you next time. See you then. Bye-bye.